Here's a really good book about boundaries. Reading a couple lines that stood out to me. People who exhibit strong signs of being disagreeable, such as always having to be right, arguing over small details, or struggling to accept differences in others, are more likely to push back against boundaries. More likely to be disagreeable, not respect other people's differences. I would also add get defensive and possibly attack you, insult you, gaslight you. Who do you think we're talking about here? Of course, we're talking about people with narcissistic personality styles. And in this video, I want to unpack how do boundaries work with narcissists. The short answer could be here is that they don't work for narcissists, but they absolutely work for you and are crucial in order for you to protect yourself from narcissists, whether it's someone you just met or is someone that you've been dealing with for a really long period of time, like a family member. I'll start here with a personal story. So recently I was trying to meet with someone for a very first time, and he proposed to me to meet him for drinks. And one of my boundaries is not drinking and driving, and also I prefer to just meet with people for coffee first. So I responded back saying, hey, do you mind if we meet for coffee first? He responded saying, do you think you're too good to meet for drinks? And put several other assumptions there. And I responded saying, I'm seeing a lot of assumptions here. Did you consider that if I'm even drinking? And he responded with an insult. If you're wondering, after that, I definitely did not meet him, and I communicated that I'm not interested in meeting him anymore. And of course, that was followed back by additional nasty insults that I had to block his number. What I learned from here is that by upholding my boundary and communicating what I wanted and didn't want, I was met with disrespect, insult, accusations, pushback. I didn't even meet this person, but at the same time, it was thank you. What if I was going with the flow and not having any boundaries? How long would it take to uncover this? I don't know this person, and I don't know if this person is narcissistic, but what I do know is that narcissists do not respect other people's individual autonomy. They do not respect you as a person who have separate preferences, choices, opinions, feelings, because they see people as sources of supply to be serving them. And by expressing the boundary is how you can tell really quickly who someone is. Because when you do express something that's opposite from what they want, they will react to that. Now, this is a really good practice for people that you're just meeting. But in order to do that, you have to be really clear with yourself on what is it that you want, what's okay for you, what's not okay for you. And we're talking about the emotional and psychological part, which is not always easy, especially if you're not used to that, if you come from a family that didn't have boundaries, and you also have something traumatic that happened to you in the past. But brings up a whole another point, and the next part to talk about is what do you do with the difficult and narcissistic people that are in your life that have been there for a long time, that you're not going to simply be able to or want to just block their number because they're not that new. For a long-term narcissist in your life, forget about communicating what your boundaries are, because you already know you're not going to be met with a genuine intent to meet you where your boundaries are. Instead, have a clear boundaries for yourself, and it is about not playing their game. Stop reacting to everything that they're doing. Stop taking their baiting. Stop trying to prove something to them. Those are really important boundaries that you have to clear to yourself in order to protect yourself from those that are closest to you. Boundaries will enable you to stop reacting to everything that narcissists want from you and start responding Boundaries are about taking your power back, and it is the way to strategically make decisions about what do you want to do about those longer term relationships that you have in your life. Because when you start taking your power back and you give less of you to them, gray area may be more bearable for you, at least in the short term, till you decide what is the better option for you. In this book, of course, like many other books, there is no mentioning specifically of narcissism, or at least in the first 100 pages that I read so far. And this is why I want to do this video, to add that layer that unfortunately is a very important layer that we have to deal with, because narcissists will not meet you as a reasonable people that you're going to be able to discuss your boundaries with. But by having them is how you protect yourself against them. Thank you.